FEC filing since 2017 shows the RNC has paid $3.1 million on private jets, $1.3 million on limos, $17.1 million on donor mementos, and $750K on floral arrangements, and about $80,000 on booze. So, as a party that preaches fiscal conservatism, is it any wonder that people are a little bothered by this?
Well, people are bothered by it, but let me take a different side to this story, because here we have, once again, the Democrats are putting this narrative out there and the Republicans are following all over each other to pull the party apart. I think it's time for us to say, what do we need to do going forward? Let's stop looking at the past from that standpoint. Look at the past from the standpoint of what really happened on the ground, Carl, because I am here in Michigan and I know for a fact that if I look at what Democrats are doing, they have people on the ground for over a year who are making six figures to do a job to actually get ballots. That's what they're doing. And we are focused on whatever the left throws out there. Candidate quality, Donald Trump, the RNC spending money. That's where we're focusing our effort. I want us to bring our grassroots together, to bring our donors together and say, what did we do? Let's do a post-mortem of the election. Yeah. What did we do wrong on the ground? Because we did do something wrong on the ground. We are not chasing the ballots as we should. And let's hold the RNC accountable for that, because I was told there would be a strong ground game. Where did we go wrong in Michigan and across the nation? Well,
that actually bring up a good point, because in Michigan, one of the colleges, I believe it was Michigan University, went like 90-something% for Gretchen Whitmer, when your polling had you guys extremely close up to the day of election. Now, like you said, these consultants, as Kellyanne Conway pointed out the other day, they remain nameless, but they make millions. Jeb Bush's consultants made $125 million. And you know what they came up with? An exclamation point next to his name. These people, you're absolutely right, they're not doing their job. So let's talk about Michigan there. They were paid six-figure salaries to go get ballots. It's legal to seek ballots through harvesting in a variety of different ways. Why didn't they do it?
Why weren't we on the ground doing any of that? I was told that there were multiple different organizations that would come into Michigan and have a ground game, on top of the fact that we have folks in Michigan who are saying, we're going to wait and see how this election goes. Where are the leaders in the Republican Party who are saying, you know what, we don't have a time to wait and see. Our primary is in August. It's one of the latest primaries out there. When you see the Democrats, they go, man, if there's a D after their name, that's our candidate. Candidate quality obviously doesn't matter to Democrats, because they are out there supporting you if you are not even alive. If we look at the situation in Pennsylvania, I mean, I am sorry, but John Fetterman was not a fantastic candidate, and yet he was totally supported by the Democrats. So Republicans can learn from that. Let's take a step back and say, what are the Democrats doing? And we're getting distracted by all of these other things. Meanwhile, they're just coming in and taking the elections. They're winning these elections in August, in September, in October, and we are trying to win these elections in November. We're doing it wrong. Where is the money toward that effort? And why are we not holding the RNC accountable for that? I want to see the receipts on how many people did you have on the ground? Did you have an organization out there years ahead of time where they were infiltrating churches, where they were in the universities, where they were talking to the students, and they had people on the ground? And then come the moment you can start pulling ballots, the moment you can start going to doors, do you have a paid effort on the ground? Because our volunteers are not able to do it. It has to be an organized business that is on the ground. And that's something we're not willing to say. This is a business. You can't have volunteers coming in and saying, you know what, I believe that I can do this with no money. That is not the case. Yeah. You've got to have millions of dollars on the ground.
Yeah, well, not to mention the millions of dollars. If you have the best message in the world, which I believe you had an extremely strong message going into this. But if you can't deliver it, I mean, you were outspent on what, 5-1, 6-1, and there were people like the RNC that promised certain support. So let's talk about the fundraising threshold. Ronna raised over $1 billion during her tenure. When you're spending it on whatever you're spending it on, it's not wisely invested. So how do we come out of this and tell Joe Schmo in the middle of America who has donated $5, $10, $20 every month out of his fixed income that, you know, hey, I'm sorry we had those problems. We've got it squared away now. Please continue to donate. Or does he just say, I'm not giving another dime to this party?
Well, first of all, you have to go around and talk about what actually has to happen. And there has to be a situation where not only do you have one person at the top of the RNC, but you have the people in the states that understand what they're doing too. And that management system goes back and forth, because if you have a bunch of activists in your state party who aren't understanding the organization on the ground, you will end up with a failed campaign in that state. And I really believe that if you look at the state of Michigan, we did not have a very strong state party. So what the RNC was able to bring together, really the state party didn't have any cash. There was no money on hand. And so it goes to, not only are you looking at what can you do on a national level, but what is that local team doing? And that comes from the RNC as well. They need to be on the ground with that local team saying, you need to raise money, and this is what that money needs to go to. You need to have the people that can go out there and do what Democrats are doing.
Sell them a specific section of the campaign. Tudor Dixon, always a pleasure. Appreciate being here.